It's among the fastest growing airlines in India, one of the most interesting aviation markets anywhere in the world. Akasa is now going to be going international after being in business flying for just 19 months. It is a landmark moment for the airline as it looks at its long-term growth strategies, but it is also a market which is difficult, competitive, very, very challenging, but the opportunities seem to be well and truly there. Joining us now, a very special guest, the CEO of Akasa, Vinay Dube. Thanks, Vinay, very much for being with us. 19 months and you're going international. Was this according to plan, or are you proceeding in a sense faster than even you had expected?
No, I think this is according to plan, Vishnu. I'd say that we had a very ambitious growth plan. We had a very ambitious business plan. And we had always envisioned flying internationally between 18 and 24 months. And so 19, 20 months is right in the middle. So I'd say this is per plan, but it's per a very ambitious plan. And we're sorry, go ahead.
Absolutely. So this is a start. Doha is your first international destination. Could you give us an idea of where else you intend to expand and how soon before that happens?
Yeah, sure. So beyond Doha, we're looking at Riyadh and Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and that's just for starters. And the reason I say these is because these are the traffic rights that we got in the winter season that are carrying over into the summer season. But to be honest, we've got an aircraft that has amazing range. We should be able to hit, Indonesia, Thailand, the east coast of Africa, certainly all of the CIS or a number of the CIS countries. And so you should expect this to be just the beginning of Akasa's international ambitions. We don't normally signal destination after destination because these things tend to take time. These things tend to change. We have to get regulatory permissions. But my thought is many, many exciting destinations, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, are coming here in the very near future.
And Vinay, it's interesting that you should mention that the destinations, eastern parts of Africa, Indonesia as well. We see your competitor Indigo get some fairly aggressive plans about expanding westwards to Europe. They're investing in extended range variants of the A320 family. Does the 737 MAX aircraft give you the range that you're looking for, perhaps even to extend your operations west of, let's say, Turkey?
Yeah, so the 737 is not going to fly to Turkey, let alone west of Turkey, but we're very comfortable with that. This is part of our plan that calls for fleet simplicity as part of our business plan, and the MAX has a 6-hour range. And if you put a radius around India, whether it's from Delhi or Bengaluru or Kolkata or Bengaluru or Mumbai, and you put a 6-hour radius around that, you probably hit almost 75% of India's current international travel needs. And that's pretty fantastic to do with this particular aircraft type. So the MAX has amazing capabilities that allow us to do this.
Can we expect Akasa, and I realize it's very early now, but given the fact that we're seeing so many Indian airlines go international in a big way, can we see you expanding beyond a single type?
Well, for the moment, I'd say we've placed this mammoth aircraft order at Wings. We've placed 150 aircraft, taking our order to 226. And Vishnu, in this regard, I will say that we've gone through and searched the 120-year history of global aviation, and there's not one airline in a 120-year history of global aviation that has placed an order above 200 within a span of 19, 20 months or 18 months of starting operations. So we are already setting records that literally, are redefining what global aviation is like. For the moment, we're satisfied with 226 aircraft of the MAX 8 and 10 family. But you never say never.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the MAX. It's been in the news, unfortunately, for all the wrong reasons. Not at all about Akasa, but internationally, there have been safety concerns once again. The regulator over here is also looking at the MAX, one-time clearances, etc., etc. The MAX has got a bad rep, let's face it. Is that something that concerns you?
For the moment, we are extremely pleased with the performance of the aircraft. On the other hand, we'll say that no amount of focus and safety is too much. I will say that some of the incidences have happened with the variants of the MAX that we don't have. and they've happened to modifications of variants that we don't. So there are certainly mitigating circumstances in those that we are not exposed to at all. And so I would say for us and at Akasa, unequivocally, we feel very safe with this particular aircraft. And we look forward to this amazing growth that's ahead of us.
If you look at what the FAA's concerns are with the MAX series of aircraft, it has a lot to do with manufacturing standards at Boeing. So in as much as the variants that you operate may not have faced any safety issues, it's the overall concern of quality manufacturing that extends beyond the types that you operate. Again, is that an area of concern?
So like I said, there's no amount of focus in safety, whether it's from us or a manufacturer, that's too much. The second thing to keep in mind is that the FAA is and continues to provide certifications of airworthiness. So if they actually thought that there were concerns that prevented this particular aircraft from being airworthy as we fly it today, it would have showed up in that. So for the moment, like I said, we would want ourselves and everyone in the aviation ecosystem to continue and redouble their efforts in safety. But we have no concerns at this point in time at all.
Vinay, the other, and I won't use the concern, the priority obviously is with this mammoth aircraft order, you will need pilots. You'll need to hire pilots, train pilots and retain pilots. I know you've gotten into an agreement quite recently for the training of Boeing 737 pilots. Could you tell us a little bit about that process? And I ask this at a time when obviously retaining talent is critical for your growth plans.
Happy to. Thank you for that question, Vishnu. First, let's just start with the numbers. Today, Akasa has almost 700 pilots to the dot. Very, very close. I think maybe 697, something in that neighborhood. So attracting pilots to Akasa has not been an issue so far. And that's because we genuinely are, very safety focused on the one side. We have modern technology that really is going to be something that the pilots will be trained on and is the aircraft for the next 15, 20 years. So it's extremely important from the development of their skill set. We're extremely employee centric. And so for all of these reasons, we haven't had an issue either attracting or retaining pilots today. In terms of training, we're very excited to have this agreement with CAE. It's the largest training provider, but they're also one of two OEMs that actually manufacture simulators. And so it's not just training, but it's also, an important element of training from a simulator perspective. And so we don't see this as an issue at all from Akasa's perspective. We are a team of hardcore planners. We're aviators. We know it takes X number of years to make a captain. We know it takes, Y number of years to make a cadet. And we're just ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And that's been our modus operandi since we started.
I asked this because a couple of days back, and you did issue a clarification, there were 10 flights apparently which got cancelled in a finite period of time, apparently because there was some pilot shortage. Would that be because of non-availability of pilots because the training regimen fell behind schedule? Or did it have anything to actually do with the number of pilots you have on call?
No, Vishnu, neither. In fact, I'd like to correct it. I don't think we had 10 cancellations or so 10 days ago. So first, let me provide statistics, in terms of Akasa's reliability. If you were to look at DGCA statistics, and they publish it every single month, I think you'll statistically find that Akasa has the lowest number of cancellations and statistically is the most on-time airline in India. Mm-hmm. We also believe that we have the best baggage performance in India. So first and foremost, I just want to set that base in terms of, our hyper focus on reliability, right? Unequivocally, the most on-time airline. Second, when it comes to a cancellation here and there, and every airline is subject to it, it's absolutely not due to a shortage of pilots, I want to assure you. Yeah. Can we, as an airline, continue to improve our focus on training and training throughput? Absolutely. But I want to say that there's absolutely no linkage between, let's say, cancellation that we may have for, weather reasons or cancellation we may have, for a snag that requires fixing an aircraft or a bird hit that we've had in a variety of reasons. not linked to a shortage of pilots at all. Again, want to make sure you have the numbers in terms of 700 pilots that we have.
Got it. Let's talk about the Indian market itself. There's a lot of competition. Obviously, Air India is now an enlarged airline. They've got many other small airlines. Indigo has really grown. They've got the largest market share in India. Jet Airways might be coming back again, and then Akasa is growing as well. While it's great news for people like me, passengers, because we get wonderful, fares potentially, it means cut rate competition for you. And ultimately that becomes a question of viability if you're counting every last seat which has been sold or every last rupee which has been earned, particularly in an environment where, for example, fuel costs remain volatile. Isn't too much competition great for me, but tough news for you?
So the answer is no. And the answer is no because we've created a business foundation at Akasa that is solid. We've created a financial foundation at Akasa that is solid. We're extremely well capitalized with cash in the bank. We're operating in a market, India, this amazing market with this wonderful growth ahead that does not require one airline to fail for another to be successful. All right. So that's really the landscape that is underlying all of this. And keep in mind that, we are very happy in terms of focusing just on Akasa. So think of some of these facts. We are the fastest growing airline that the world has ever seen in 120-year history, but we're also India's most reliable airline. That gives you a sense, of the professionalism with which we are running this airline and the hyper focus we have on what matters to customers. And as long as we keep that focus on what matters to customers, I don't think we have any issue whether there are two sort of behemoths on either side of us, because I think there's enough place for all of us in this market. And that's the exciting part.
In terms of opening up new routes within India, is that also an area that you're looking at? Or are we getting to a situation where all the prime routes, and I'm not necessarily talking about Delhi, Bombay or Delhi, Bangalore, etc., but all the viable routes have already been taken up. Are there still routes yet to be discovered using the MAX aircraft?
Yeah, 100%. And again, this is more of an India story than an Akasa story. Thought is India is growing, 14, 15 percentage points every single year. If you look at the statistic in terms of February, you'll see a slightly muted growth. But that's not because there's not demand out there. That's because today we're capacity constrained as a country, right? And we'll continue to be capacity constrained for a long time, which is actually wonderful news for airlines. But in terms of demand, there's multiples of demand out there for the next 30 years, Vishnu. Right? And if you look at Akasa, we've opened up markets into Port Blair, we've opened up Ayodhya, Gwalior, Srinagar, Doha, we're talking about Riyadh, Jeddah, Kuwait. And so there'll be a ton of markets for us, dozens, tens of markets for us to continue to open up with the MAX at Akasa. But by the way, also for our competitors, right? Mm-hmm. There's an amazing amount of demand out there for us to be able to satisfy with an expanded network here in the future in India.
Just returning to my previous question, if you look at some of the other airlines, Indigo operates turboprop aircraft, SpiceJet does as well, Jet in its older avatar certainly did. And there's this big push by the government to get Tier 2 and Tier 3 smaller airports, smaller towns covered as well. Those are areas where the MAX aircraft won't typically fly into. Is that an area where you see potential growth for your airline?
So I'd say today we've got this order book of 226 MAX aircraft. I will say, I'll venture a guess out here. I don't know the exact number, but there are probably 75 airports where the MAX can land. Yeah. Vishnu, that's plenty to keep everyone at Akasa busy for the next decade. I don't think we need to be looking at, 175 airports because those are sort of impractical numbers. We're happy if whoever has a turboprop wants to land at a smaller aircraft, more power to them. Mm-hmm. We're focused on really serving our customers well with, the highest levels of kindness, and efficiency and reliability. this is what makes Akasa. And we've got the financial foundation, and we've got the business foundation to be able to do that. So we're incredibly excited about our future with our fleet.
All right. Vinay Dube, fantastic to speak to you, talk about the airline. But I must ask you one or two more questions. Firstly, it's a very basic question. We've got just a handful of big airlines now in India, and I include you in a big airline. You're certainly going to be huge in the years ahead. There's the infrastructure growth story also at Indian airports. And here's a basic question. Do we physically have enough space to store or for parking bays for hundreds, if not thousands of aircraft which are entering the Indian market over the next couple of years? There is huge infrastructure expansion at airports which is also required. That's important for airlines like you. Do you believe that that is keeping pace with your expansion plans?
Yes, Vishnu, I will say that. And let me give you some proof points. First, just to say, in the next couple of years, we won't get 1,000 aircraft. The next couple of years, as a country, we may get 100. I don't have the exact number, but more than likely by 2030 we'll double. So our 600 will become maybe 1,200 by 2030. So it's maybe 100 aircraft every year for the next 5, 6, or 7 years. Just to say statistically. The second thing is, I certainly in my career here in India, and I will agree that it's not a 30-year career here in India, although I've been an aviation veteran of 30 years, but I've been closely linked to Indian aviation for about 6.5, 7 years now. I have never seen, and I go back, I'm a big sort of aviation history buff, but I have never seen the kind of aviation infrastructure push and results like I have seen over the last few years, last 3 or 4 or 5 years. It's absolutely amazing. We've built something like 70 airports over the last 10 years with plans for another 70 more. Absolutely amazing. The second factor to keep in mind is that India as a country and the world actually as a result of COVID has not seen a lot of growth between 2019 and 2024. But in these 5 years, our government has continued to invest in airports. You've got Noida coming up, you've got Navi Mumbai coming up, you've got Bengaluru that came up, you've got Pune, you've got Hyderabad, you've got Chennai. Everywhere you look, we've continued to invest in aviation infrastructure. So yes, for once, we at Akasa are not talking about where are we going to park our aircraft, because we know the government is making these massive investments and has made these massive investments in aviation infrastructure. So we feel very good about that.
You are a low-cost airline in a sense, but the lines between full service and low cost are often blurred, certainly in terms of passenger expectations. And my specific question is, what is the future, therefore, of in-flight entertainment on Akasa? Is it going to be my handheld, which is going to stream a lot more choices? Is that where it's actually going to go?
Yeah. So first, Vishnu, I'll say, if you allow me, we don't like at Akasa to be pigeonholed. We've got food that we think is being redefined here in India. So I'd say that when it comes to customer experience, Akasa is second to none. So we don't like being pigeonholed for these reasons. And by the way, one of the most important elements of customer experience is on-time performance and baggage, where we lead the industry. Right. So our view is we are the full service carrier, just to be clear. Secondly, when it comes to, and sorry, you can probe
right
me
ahead.
on that.
This is all fascinating stuff.
Yeah, you can probe me on that, but we genuinely believe that our customer experience is second to none. Quality of seat, food, service, on-time performance, any way you look at it. Right? Now, we have very affordable fares. That's a different story. But our customer experience, in our opinion, is second to none. Now, the very specific question you asked in terms of in-flight entertainment, I'd say yes, 100%. It is moving towards people bringing their own content. I mean, you have friends that, not just fly from, Mumbai to Delhi, as I did yesterday. I had content of my own, which is what I watched between Mumbai and Delhi just last night. But people are flying from India to the US and are taking content of their own, even though they've got access to, perhaps in-flight entertainment. So absolutely, bringing your own content is the way of the future, which is why Akasa has two things. One is we've got a USB port.
Yeah.
which is which is helpful. And the second thing is we've got a device holder that are coming in the new seats that are going to be standard for every Akasa plane that is delivered. Because I think over a period of time, people's necks start getting hurt when they're looking down, and so device holder and power in seat that are at eye level is really part of the Akasa experience for every aircraft that is going to be delivered from now on. So this is the reason why we say our experience is second to none.
And just one question going forward, there is a lot of conversation on telephony in the air. A lot of people would suggest that that's bad news, that there needs to be a little bit of peace. You don't want to disturb the person next to you. But I suspect, a few years down the road, there would be that expectation that I need to be on the phone calling up somebody when I want it, and the airline needs to enable me to do that. What are your thoughts on that? And are your aircraft actually configured to take mobile telephony, in the years ahead?
So Vishnu, we've got the most modern aircraft available today. But this is not an area where we've really engaged in from a debate and consideration perspective. It's a long ways away. And I have no real position to make on this. So I can't really answer the question, Vishnu.
Wonderful speaking to you, Vinay. Thank you so much for taking all of those questions, and good luck. It is exciting to see Indian aviation grow, and it is exciting to see Akasa grow with it. Thank you very much indeed.